Did you get it?
So, today we're going to dive into a completely different way of thinking about income. It's a map, really, designed to get the gatekeepers out of your financial life. This isn't about some get-rich-quick hype. It's about really understanding how you can create value in the digital world, but on your own terms.
You know, it all boils down to this one simple, super frustrating question. Why do I have to wait for someone else to say yes? If you're trying to earn online, it's probably not because you're lazy or unmotivated. You're just tired. Tired of being locked out, tired of waiting for permission.
And you know this feeling all too well, right? Firing off application after application, just hoping your resume makes it past some automated filter, all of it just waiting for someone, somewhere to grant you permission to work.
And it's so much bigger than just jobs. It's permission to get picked for a freelance gig, to get accepted onto a platform, to be the one they choose out of a massive crowd.
Freedom ain't the weekend. It's a mindset. It's that moment you realize your time is the real currency. We don't clock out. We cash in on purpose. Welcome to Freedom Friday.
Monday start with vision, Friday end with proof. I ain't built no luck,
I built the truth, 17 weeks, no breaks, no flinch. Consistency, my cloth, can't tear an inch. The grind feels sacred when you know your lane. Turn struggle to syllabus, pressure to gain. I used to chase weekends, now I own my days. Design my time, redefine pay. Boss of my rhythm, freedom in sight. Every scroll I wrote got another so right. They talk hustle, but they miss the plan. Work for peace, that's the real demand. From the live to the link to the legacy taught. I ain't sold out, I sold thoughts that bought. Every small trickle now flows like rain. Freedom Friday, I broke those chains.
It's Freedom Friday, we made it through the grind. Oh yeah, time to free your peace of mind. Let go that fear, we rise and strive. Strong are we rise.
I earn my rest cause I earn my grind. Peace ain't cheap when you bought your time. Every no I heard was a lesson taught. Every delay was a seed I bought. From comment credits to crowns of faith. Freedom Friday ain't a date, it's a state. Made discipline sexy, consistency cool. I ain't follow they trend, I rewrote the rule. Hustleberry sing the souls back home, while I talk numbers on a microphone. Edutainment the vibe, we built this bridge. Music meet money on the same bridge. Friday ain't weak, it's strong by design. Freedom the fruit of a disciplined mind. Celebrate now, we ain't done by far. We ain't chasing weekends, we chasing stars.
It's Freedom Friday, we made it through the grind. Oh yeah, time to free your peace of mind. Let go that fear, we rise and strive. Strong are we now.
They say the grind don't sleep, I let piecework shift. I ain't burnt out, I refine my gift. Scroll after scroll, turn story to seed. Now faith pay interest on everything I lead. I ain't waiting on Friday to feel alive. Every day now got that freedom vibe. No clock in, no boss tone calling. Self-made CEO of my morning. Used to measure worth by the payday sums. Now I measure peace by how calm I become. From dark weeks to bright ends we grow. Freedom ain't luck, it's what we know. Built my legacy off discipline say. Now every Friday feels like heaven's pay. Hustle bear, let it berry harmonize. Freedom Friday, we monetize the rise.
It's Freedom Friday, we made it through the grind. Oh yeah, time to free your peace of mind. Strong all week now, watch us fly. It's Freedom Friday, we built this we built this life. We built this life.
I give you food for action, don't choke on the truth. This lesson I prepared was made just for you. Feast up, I'll keep serving till the pot run dry. Got enough cooking to feed the whole country, no lie. Too many flavors, you know, I got what you like. Don't start beefing with me, you won't win this fight. If you come in peace, keep your teeth intact. I got a plan to get this cake, come grab a stack. Life could be sweet, if you listen you'll see. Food for action on a platter, served fresh by me. I'm serving knowledge on plates, got the recipe down. A blend of hustle and wisdom, that's my sound. I'm feeding the masses, no crumbs, full course. But if you bring nothing to the table, find the door. Stop acting like you got beef, it won't taste right. This flavor's reserved for those ready.
Okay, family, we are live. We are live. And once again, I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge. Today is Strong 52, day 5, and we are right at 10 minutes into today's challenge. Now, I have to really shorten today's live up because I'm having some work done at my place. So last week, things happen in life, right? So a few weeks ago, a situation happened where there was flooding and, some things had to get tore down. And then, of course, some things had to be reconstructed. So today is the last day of the reconstruction phase. Now I have some people coming in. They're going to be putting in some flooring, laying down some carpet. So it's going to be pretty loud. But, in the spirit of consistency, I I just can't break my consistency. It really seems like it doesn't matter what happens. Me personally, I've built a sense of, you know, confidence, a sense of pride in being the person that I am, always showing up, always giving it everything that I have. And this consistency thing for me is one of the most valuable assets that anyone can ever have. Rain, sleet, hail, snow, I've shown up. Broken hand, I've shown up. Construction going on, I've shown up. And now I have some people coming in to do some work right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a special presentation for you guys so that while everything is going on, we continue with this spirit of consistency so that you guys get everything that you're supposed to get on a consistent basis. So let me pull up this specific presentation for you. And at the end of that, we're going to close out. But I want to encourage you guys to, stay committed no matter what it is that you have going on, no matter what situations, that might seem like it's designed to put a damper on what you're doing. Make sure that you stay consistent and you do what's necessary. So with that, I'm about to pull up this presentation for you guys. And I've been doing a lot of stuff, moving around and stuff like that. I've been trying to, move stuff out of the way so that the guys that's here to do the work, they're able to do what they need to do. So I'm a little out of breath, running back and forth, making sure that I'm able to fulfill everything that I need to do. So with that, let me fade to the back, pull up this presentation for you guys, and I hope to see you guys in the next live and throughout the day, because I'm still going to be creating, doing my thing. It never stops, right? See you guys in the next video. Stay for the presentation.
So picture a group of crabs, but they aren't, trapped in a bucket.
Right, not that old toxic crab in a bucket metaphor where they all just pull each other down.
Exactly. Forget that one. In this scenario, these crabs are out in the open ocean. They're just getting battered by violent currents, physically pulled apart by the water around them.
Oh.
And instead of scattering or climbing over one another to survive, they are desperately reaching out, locking claws, and forming a living raft so they can stay afloat together.
I mean, that visual completely shatters the default assumption we make about ambition, doesn't it?
It really does.
We're so conditioned to believe that success is this zero-sum game. Like, to climb up, someone else has to be pushed down.
Yeah, which is just so exhausting.
Well,
But the broadcast we're doing a deep dive on today, this is from day 48 of the Hustlers 10-minute-a-day challenge inside the Hustleverse community. It uses that exact open water imagery to argue the complete opposite.
Yeah, they use this hidden symbolism layered in their videos to show that the environment itself is the threat, not the person sitting next to you.
Right. And we are dissecting that specific broadcast today because it frames this much larger, frankly, alarming societal breakdown. We're specifically looking at the communication crisis with Gen Z.
Which is massive right now.
It is. And we're unpacking how solving that breakdown is actually the ultimate blueprint for modern business success.
So if you are building any kind of venture right now, the big takeaway is that real success requires building a lifeboat, not just fighting everyone else for the captain's chair.
Exactly.
Okay.
Holding a lifeboat. But to build that lifeboat, we have to look at the mechanics of what the broadcast calls the internal driver.
Right, because there's a sequential logic to pulling someone out of the water. I mean, you cannot lean over the edge of a boat and haul someone up if your own feet aren't planted firmly on the deck.
Yeah, you just fall in with them.
Exactly. The speaker in the challenge drills into this concept. You cannot transfer motivation to a client or an audience or your community if you don't possess it yourself.
Which requires a really honest audit of your own daily participation. I see so many entrepreneurs and creators who want to just immediately launch into saving the world.
Oh, all the time.
Or at least, selling a solution to the world before they've built the engine of their own consistency. They want the result of the community without the unglamorous friction of actually showing up for it every day.
And that lack of genuine consistency is disastrous right now because the market isn't just looking for a shiny new product anymore. We're looking at a demographic that is in active distress.
Yeah, the broadcast pulls up a highly revealing article for this. The title alone is striking. It's called Gen Z Isn't Just Burned Out, They're Unhappy.
And it's a global crisis, too. We are seeing youth in the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. They're ranking at the absolute bottom of global happiness indices.
It's wild. And the broadcast makes this really sharp generational comparison here. They point out that older generations faced incredibly rugged physical hardships, like walking miles just to survive.
The classic walking 10 miles uphill in the snow story.
Right, exactly. Whereas today's youth have unprecedented technological comfort. But they are miserable. And I want to unpack that label of softer that always gets thrown around in these generational debates.
Yeah, it's a loaded word.
It is.
Yeah.
Because to me, it seems less about a lack of resilience and more about a complete shift in the battlefield. Like, we've eliminated the physical friction of survival, but we've replaced it with a psychological terrain our brains simply aren't evolved to navigate.
I think that is the core paradox of modern convenience. Think about it. When physical survival required a village, human connection was a mandatory byproduct.
Oh, totally. You had to talk to your neighbors to build a barn or harvest a field.
That's right. But as our physical world became completely frictionless, that mandatory human interaction just vanished. We built infinite digital networks to replace it, but those networks are entirely performative.
Yeah.
Modern convenience completely failed to solve the emptiness because it optimized for speed and scale. It entirely stripped out emotional resonance.
Which brings us directly to the evolution of social media that the source material outlines. We can actually trace the degradation of our communication.
Oh, yeah, step by step.
Like, in the early days, the mechanism was simple. You used your real name to find the people you actually knew in the physical world.
Right, Facebook in the beginning.
Exactly. The digital space was just an extension of your real-world community.
But then the architecture of these platforms changed. They introduced algorithmic feeds, and the psychology shifted from connection to broadcasting.
Real names became avatars.
Avatars, alter egos, fake names. People began curating these fictionless highlight reels. Suddenly, the objective wasn't to talk to your friends anymore.
No, it was to project an idealized lifestyle of endless vacations and luxury to absolute strangers.
Which masks so much real-life struggle.
It's like attending a lifelong masquerade ball. If you wear a mask every single day to impress strangers, eventually you're going to forget what your real face looks like when you look in the mirror.
That is such a good way to put it. And it creates severe sensory adaptation. If you live next to train tracks, eventually your brain just stops registering the sound of the trains to protect you from sensory overload.
Yeah, you just tune it out.
Right. And on social media, we are bombarded by thousands of faces and intimate moments every single day. To handle that massive cognitive load, we literally stop registering those avatars as flesh and blood humans.
We reduce them to non-player characters, like in a video game.
Yeah.
We just treat people as content.
And once you classify another human being merely as content, empathy just evaporates.
Poof, gone.
The broadcast highlights this massive spike in online cruelty that directly correlates with this shift. It explains why communication devolved from long, meaningful conversations into passive, transactional behaviors.
Right, we don't talk anymore. We just leave a thumbs up emoji, drop some hypercritical comment without a second thought, and keep scrolling.
It's just a dopamine slot machine now.
I found the text message example from the Hustleverse livestream highly indicative of how deep this atrophy actually goes.
Oh, the sunny outside text.
Yes, the speaker talks about texting someone something completely benign, like it's sunny outside, and then just watching the typing bubble appear and disappear for 5 minutes.
Oh man, that is so relatable.
Right. The recipient is paralyzed by the simplest human interaction. They literally no longer have the muscle memory to just naturally respond to a comment about the weather.
And we see this bleeding into the physical world constantly now. The broadcast shares this anecdote about a modern drive-through interaction that perfectly illustrates the physiological reality of use it or lose it when it comes to social skills.
Yeah, the drive-through worker.
Right. The worker at the window processes the entire transaction with a blank stare, totally avoiding eye contact, completely emotionally vacant.
You sound depressed.
Exactly. They are processing a physical transaction with the exact same psychological mechanism they use to swipe past a TikTok video. It's just a barrier to get through, completely void of any human warmth.
So if you are listening to this right now and you're trying to build a business, an audience, or lead a team, this societal default is actually your greatest advantage.
Oh, 100%.
The bar for standing out is incredibly low right now. If the default setting for humanity is to ghost people and hide behind screens, then basic human communication is no longer a soft skill. It is a rare, highly lucrative superpower.
That's the major takeaway here. The vast majority of online marketers and business founders fail because they are actively trying to automate away human contact.
They want the robot to do the talking.
Always. They are building complex text-based funnels and deploying endless AI chatbots specifically because they are terrified of genuine dialogue.
Wow, yeah.
They are playing into the exact isolation that Gen Z is already drowning in.
Which begs the question, how does an entrepreneur actually capitalize on this void? Because we can't just tell people to talk more. There has to be a structural way to turn this crisis of isolation into a functioning business strategy.
Well, the blueprint lies in shifting what you are fundamentally selling. The Hustleverse broadcast lays out a very clear thesis. Gen Z, and honestly society at large, is starved for belonging.
A place to feel seen.
Exactly. A strong sense of belonging is actually the top predictor of human happiness. Therefore, the future of online business is not e-commerce. It is not selling a digital product in a vacuum.
Right.
The most valuable businesses moving forward will be the communities themselves. Founders need to design environments that organically force real dialogue.
It's the difference between selling someone a raincoat and building a shelter.
Oh, I like that.
They keep telling you, stay motivated. Watch this. Listen to that. Get inspired. But what happens when the video ends? When the music fades? When nobody's clapping, watching, or waiting for you to win? What moves you? Then? I used to run on borrowed energy, quotes, speeches, people hyping me. Felt unstoppable for a moment, then I'd crash, like it was never in me. It's the problem with external fuel. It burn quick, don't last, don't rule. You depending on the source outside, so when it disappears, so do you. I was chasing feelings, not building fire, waiting to feel ready instead of climbing higher. But readiness ain't a mood you catch, it's a discipline you wire. So I had to ask myself something different. If nobody ever told me keep going, would I?
Think about it. If you just sell the raincoat, the transaction ends, and they walk back out into the storm alone. But if you build a shelter, you invite them in out of the rain, and suddenly they're standing next to 10 other people who are also seeking refuge.
Right, they have a shared experience.
Exactly. You've created an environment where they naturally start talking to each other. You aren't just a merchant anymore. You are the architect of their social survival.
And to engineer that shelter effectively, we don't even need to invent new online paradigms. We just need to audit the offline world.
Because it already works there.
Totally.
Yeah.
The broadcast looks at corporate structures from the past. You know, potlucks, shared meals, team escape rooms.
The stuff people usually roll their eyes at.
Exactly. But these weren't just silly HR exercises. They were forced friction points that required people to negotiate, collaborate, and share an identity.
The most fascinating offline parallel in the analysis, though, is the retail membership model. Places like Costco, Sam's Club, or BJ's.
Such a brilliant example.
From a purely logical standpoint, it makes zero sense that a consumer would eagerly pay a $60 or $100 annual fee just for the privilege of walking into a warehouse.
Yeah.
Especially when the local grocery store has free sliding doors right down the street.
But it makes perfect sense when you factor in the psychology of exclusivity. That membership card is a velvet rope. By forcing the consumer to qualify, even if it's just paying a baseline fee, they filter out the general public. And the moment the customer crosses that threshold, their identity shifts.
They're no longer a passive consumer. They are an insider.
Exactly. They belong to a specific group.
And it highlights this brilliant irony. People actively desire to be filtered out. They want the barrier to entry because being chosen to be on the inside of a gated environment makes them feel valued.
It makes them feel safe.
Right. When we translate this to an online business model, it completely reframes the idea of gated content. You aren't locking people out just to be greedy. You are creating a psychological boundary that makes everyone inside feel safe enough to actually drop their masks and talk to each other.
And once you establish that gated boundary, you deploy the free sample strategy.
Ah, yes. The little carts at Costco.
Exactly. Just like Costco puts out carts of free food inside the warehouse, an online founder provides massive, continuous, value-like free trainings, access to expert software tools, exclusively to the people inside the gate.
And that dynamic creates an emotional investment and a fierce loyalty that an open, public-facing social media page could never replicate in a million years.
Never.
We can actually see this exact architecture functioning within the Hustleverse community itself. The source material isn't just theoretical. They aren't just lecturing on community building. Their entire ecosystem is actively designed around these mechanics.
Yeah, they practice what they preach.
Like their upcoming blueprint training with Wayne Crow. It's pitched as the one thing you need for success right now. And the mechanics of that live training are designed specifically to cut through the isolation of information overload.
Because information overload is incredibly isolating. It traps individuals in their own heads with analysis paralysis.
Yeah, you just freeze up.
Right. But by gathering the community for a live, singular blueprint training, the founders are giving everyone the exact same focal point. They are establishing a shared curriculum.
It gives them a common language.
Exactly. When everyone is learning the same foundational concepts simultaneously, it gives them that common language to use in the community chats afterward.
And they pair that with what they call the megalink, which acts as this foundational toolkit for their members.
Right.
But again, the brilliance isn't just the tool itself, it's the shared experience of utilizing it. They push live meetups where cameras have to be on, where people have to actually practice eye contact.
Which sounds basic, but as we discussed, it's terrifying for people now.
It really is.
Yep.
They even build in micro-commitments. The speaker mentions that to unlock their content creation training, members have to actively comment the word content.
Right. Forcing the interaction.
Exactly. It forces the user to break out of the passive scroll and take a physical action to engage.
And that forced engagement is the exact antidote to that drive-through worker mentality we discussed earlier.
Yeah, it snaps you awake.
It proves that success in this digital landscape isn't about hoarding the best AI tools and hiding in a dark room. Tools without a community just amplify the echo chamber. Real traction comes from clarity, communication, and combining those modern tools with extreme, unapologetic human authenticity.
Which perfectly explains the completely bizarre way the speaker chooses to end their Day 48 broadcast.
Oh my goodness, yes.
They don't do a polished corporate sign-off. They use an AI software Video Express 3, which they highlight as an unlimited tool with no monthly fees, to generate this horror-themed music video called Something Is Wrong Here, featuring a character named Hustle Bear.
I mean, on the surface, a horror music video seems entirely disconnected from a serious business training on Gen Z communication.
Totally random.
Right. But structurally, it is the ultimate proof of concept. The speaker is demonstrating their genuine, slightly quirky personality.
Yeah.
By introducing something weird and unpolished into the community space, they are signaling to everyone else that it is safe to drop the performative social media mask.
It sets the culture. It proves their own community motto, where creativity clocks in and excuses clock out.
Yeah.
If the leader of the community is willing to share a weird AI horror video just because they love the genre, it gives all the members permission to be actual, flawed, creative human beings instead of those curated avatars we talked about.
It's brilliant. Tracing the line from the start of our analysis to now reveals a very clear mandate for anyone operating in the digital economy.
Yeah, what's the bottom line here?
We are dealing with an entire generation that is technologically saturated but starving for genuine connection. The old model of broadcasting a perfect life to strangers is just dead.
Yeah. The crabs in the open water aren't fighting each other for a better view. They are holding on to each other to survive the current.
Exactly.
The businesses and creators who will thrive over the next decade are the ones who stop treating their audience like content to be monetized and start treating them like people who need a lifeboat.
You really have to audit your own systems. Are you building walls to hide behind, or are you building the architecture for a community to actually gather inside?
I want to leave you with a challenge as you close out this deep dive today. Look at your own screen time. Look at the emails you sent, the messages you left unread, the posts you scrolled past.
Be honest with yourself.
Right. How many of those interactions involved genuine dialogue? How many times did you lean into the friction of human connection, and how often did you take the easy, frictionless path of treating another person like an NPC?
That's a tough question to answer.
It is. But if you want to stand out in a world that is terrified of eye contact, the first step is simply remembering how to look up. Keep diving deep.